Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and today I am bringing you another epic historical battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. So this is the Battle of Hattin, and for those of you guys that have watched the movie Kingdom of Heaven, this is the battle that happens just before the Siege of Jerusalem. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here, and then we'll take a look at the army comps. So, basically, the new king of Jerusalem, Guy de Lusignan, he received word that the city of Tiberius was under siege by Saladin. Now, the reason that Saladin attacked this city is because he wanted to draw out the Crusader forces. Previous attempts to actually siege the city with the amount of men that they have inside was near impossible. So he actually sieged the city of Tiberius. It had a very distinguished noble woman inside the city, and she called for aid. And it effectively drew the entire Crusader force outside of the city. So it was about 30,000 Crusader soldiers, and it was one of the most substantial armies that the Crusaders had actually fielded. Now, on the opposite side, Saladin also had a very, very grand army. And he had the terrain on his side. He actually knew this location very well, and it was actually pre-selected by him as kind of a bottleneck choke point where he can eliminate the Crusaders easily. And his forces, it's kind of mixed. There's some people that, some historians that estimate upwards of 100,000 men for Saladin, but more credible historians would probably put his forces at about 45 to 50,000. So it's almost a 2-to-1 ratio for Saladin. And not only did he have a lot of infantry, but you could see that he actually fielded quite a bit of cav. The Eastern factions, highly noted for their prowess in battle with cavalry. So, yeah, basically what happened is the Kingdom of Jerusalem, they tried to make it to a spring that they knew was in the desert. Their army was very, very tired, and a lot of them had already suffered from dehydration. And Saladin knew where this spring was, and he actually moved forwards and blocked their way. So the Crusaders are here, and the spring is obviously not shown, but it would be farther off in the desert just behind, and Saladin is in between with his mighty force of men. So Guy de Lusignan, he realizes that his men will actually die if he doesn't engage them in battle quickly enough. Like I said, they already had suffered a lot of attrition from the intense heat. They were too proud leaving from Jerusalem. They should have just stayed put. But anyways, let's take a look at the army comps here. I'm going to start with my army over here because the King of Jerusalem is here. Now, this isn't Guy de Lusignan himself, but we're going to pretend it is. It is the King of Jerusalem, so technically it would be. So there he is with his mighty shock cav there. And then he's got a nice long line of, he's commanding the Hospitaller side. So he's got a nice long line of these dismounted Fratres Militares Hospitalis. So they look pretty good, pretty elite. And then he's got a lot of these spears as well, Genoese spearmen of the late period. So he's got about 3 or 4 units of them. And then he's bringing some of this Hospitaller heavy caravan. This is a crossbow unit, but very, very elite. Hopefully they can get a lot of kills before too many of the Muslims make it onto the spear wall. And then looking over here, we've got the Templars on the other side, so they were also represented in this battle. So we got a couple units of dismounted Fratres Militares Templi. And then we've got the other general here, the Grand Master of the Temple. So looking very, very nice, very elite. So he's joining us in this battle. And then he has a similar army setup, so he's got a couple of these military order swordsmen, so they're kind of a higher tier 2 unit. And then he's got some cheaper units here. He's got the dismounted Fratres Militares Templi, so they're the same as the Hospitallers, just bearing the coat of arms of the Templars. And then he's got some Crusader marksmen here. And in the front, he's got some Urbum Hastarum Lauracati. So this would be an Italian spear infantry. And then he's got some Crusader Ballistari Scutafari. Or Scutafari. And then way over here on the flanks, he's got some Poland dismounted knights. These guys look really elite. Not super long pikes. They're kind of more like spears, but they are a heavy pike infantry unit. And then he's got a couple units of cav over here. Got the Milites Templi and some Crusader Milites. And he's got another unit over here. And I forgot to show you my cav. I'm also bringing some of the Hospitaller cav to this battle as well. So looking very, very elite. Very nice. And let's take a look at the army over on this flank here. So, yeah, vastly, vastly outnumbers us. You can see he's got some senior Gulam for ranged cav. And then he's got some Tawashi cavalry. So heavy shock cav, tier 1, but they'll still do the job. And he's got mixed in with some Ascari nobles as well. Then looking at his archer force here, they're already starting to move forwards. He's got a lot of units of Gulam foot guard. And he's got some Takla swordsmen, tier 1 heavy infantry. Then he's got some Takla axemen. Looking very nice, very elite. And then he's got some Nafatoons over here as well, 3 units of them. So they're going to be really, really good at shattering the morale of the Crusaders. Because the Crusader Knights will hold very well against this infantry, but, you know, you throw a couple of burning explosive pots in, and suddenly people just want to get out of there. But I think that's mostly it. And then we've got Saladin himself. Let's see if I can get him before he rides off. Yeah, so there he is in the center there. The Sultan himself. And then looking at the other army on this flank, so he's got a lot of the same units. I forgot to show you these guys, the Mamluk Tabaderia. They just look awesome. So we got some of that. Then, yeah, another line of Takla swordsmen over here. Gulam foot guard. And then following up with Takla axemen. We've got another Sultan's bodyguard, but we're going to pretend that that's just a lesser noble. And then over on this flank, another heavy presence of cav. Tawashi cavalry. And I think, yeah, just all Tawashi cavalry. So yeah, the battle isn't very long, so I'm really going to put it to slow motion quite a bit, just so we don't really miss anything awesome. But we're just in time to see some of the senior Gulam pushing forwards to my men.
This is where we teach them a lesson.
So they're going to have better range than we will. To see from the Crusaders' standpoint the heat just coming off the desert floors. I couldn't imagine how hot it would be in this armor right now.
Aim low, you bastards! Aim low!
The more lightly armored Ayyubid Sultanate troops, they would be faring much better in this heat right now. Looking over on this side as well, you can kind of see that we've got some more of the senior Gulam moving forwards to harass my cavalry. And just look at the long, thick line of cav just moving up the slope. That has got to be disheartening if you were rooting for the Crusader Knights. They are vastly outnumbered. Actually, taking a look at the army manpower, it's almost exactly like it would actually be in the battle. So we have 3,800 men, and they have 7,000. So they do almost outnumber us 2-1, which is historically accurate. But I'm going to try and take my heavy cav and push this senior Gulam away. But it doesn't look like we're going to catch them, so I'm going to disengage from that. Unfortunately, taking a couple of hits in the back as well as the senior Gulam, being really annoying. And then we're going to try and split up a little bit and catch one of these senior Gulam units off guard. He's going to try to get away, but the Crusader Knights are pushing forwards. Yeah, we're just not able to catch... Oh, yeah, we did catch this unit. Nice. So this is the first start of the battle. So the Crusader Knights should be able to wrap up this battle very quickly from the senior Gulam. But unfortunately, you can see what's coming along the horizon. We got a lot of the heavy shock cap moving forwards. Yeah, that is not going to be good. I think I disengage my cav as soon as possible, just to try to get them back to the safety of my lines. I'm moving forwards a lot of my crossbows, but here we go. Looks like I'm just in time for the clash. So the other Ayyubid Sultanate general, he is very, very eager to get into battle. You can see the long line is formed. The spears are hopefully going to be holding back these men as much as possible. Let's go ahead and turn this to slow motion here. So yeah, you can see that just this long line of axes here is just ready to go. And a ton of cav is just pushing over onto the flanks. Looks like we've got another little kind of a pocket fighting engagement over here against the spears. But there's just so many units, we're having a tough time keeping them contained. Yeah, here comes the cav along the flanks. He's got easily, I think there was 4, 6, 8. So there's 10 units on this flank, and I believe there's 12 on my flank. But yeah, luckily, a lot of these June swordsmen, I forgot to show you them, they're more cheap than the Takla swordsmen, and they're getting wrecked by the Crusader Templar. But over here, I think they're having a little bit better progress against these spears. You can just see the heavy axes moving forwards. That's gotta shatter shields, like if you get a good two-handed swing there. You can see forwards, my lines have not engaged yet. There is a small cav battle, but we're not missing much. It's really the Templars that are getting hit pretty hard over here. Looks like he actually did charge in his swords into the backs of this unit here. But we've got a lot of incoming arrow fire. Yeah, a couple of the Crusader cav actually getting slaughtered. Oh, this guy's got an arrow in his neck. Ooh, and that guy got it in the head. Yeah, so they're getting slaughtered, the Templar cav. But luckily they were able to break that unit quite easily, but it's already down to half health, and the dismounted halberdiers, they're going to try to pull back a little bit more. But yet, yeah, just look at this archer presence. Just constantly raining down arrows. Over on my side, we've got a cav engagement over here, like I said. My cav is just getting wrecked. The Taklaxmen with the Cedar Mulam and the Tawashi cavalry. It's just proving too much for my cav, unfortunately. Again, being harassed by archers the whole time as well. Oh, yeah.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle.
Some of the Ayyubid Sultanate men are falling, though, so that's good for us. I'm really just trying to contain this cav as long as possible. And looking over at the Templar side, the battle just rages on. You can see that the Takla Axemen have been engaged in combat now, so they're gonna do quite well against these spears, I think. Yeah, you can even see that some of the Takla Axemen are actually flanking around. They've actually caught up with a couple of units in behind. So we got another little engagement here. He's trying to hold off the Ayyubids as long as possible. Looks like he's redeploying some of his men over to this flank as well. That looks awesome. Love the Templars. They look really, really nice. How are we looking over here, though? Looks like my battle is about to begin. I'm pulling my archers back immediately. I do not want them to be caught in melee. A lot of my spears are under harassment as well. My cav is breaking over here, but it looks like I broke that unit of axes, which is good. But we're still under heavy threat from archer fire, which is really causing us some issues. Let's go ahead and look forwards over here. I'm gonna turn it back onto play. My spears are holding.
Flee the field of battle. This shameful display.
This very thin line of spears. And it looks like they're about to clash right over here. Yes, they are. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this action. So I think this is a cheaper spear unit. I think these are June spearmen. So my spear should be able to hold out. And I'm recommitting some more swords to bolster the lines as well. Over on this flank, you can see that a thin unit of swords has caught this unit of spears that was trying to push through in the center. Let's take a look at the other units. Yes, they are pushing in on all sides now. It's kind of now or never. They've actually pushed through my spears here and have actually engaged my swords over here, cutting down a couple of my men. I love the Crusaders with like the black helmet. That just looks awesome. Nice, some of the some of the Uvid Sultanate men falling there. My Crusader swords will win in prolonged melee, but the problem is you can just see the amount of cav in behind that's kind of just ready to flank around. I've got this little other deployment. I've got 2 units of halberdiers and my crossbows, and I'm just going to be trying to hold off this cav as much as possible. Here comes a nice rear charge into the backs of my Crusader knights. Yeah, that's not good for them. Just look at this. Excuse me, had a hiccup there. Look at this battle, though. What are the numbers looking like so far? So we've slaughtered about 1,500 of them, and we've taken 700 in casualties. So it's not looking too bad. But I've got my King of Jerusalem over here. He's just under constant arrow fire. Look at all the arrows coming in, targeting my general. There's the king right there. I made a big mistake here, or the King of Jerusalem made a big mistake. He saw this gap in between the 2 armies, and he wanted to push out against the Gulam foot guard. But in hindsight, it probably wasn't the best decision because it just opened him up to so much more arrow fire. And plus, he actually got caught up on a couple of these spears that were holding him back. So you can see the general there. Lot of arrows coming in on him, so it's not gonna look good. It's not looking good over on that flank for him. Over here, the Templars are actually doing quite well. You can see that they're routing the units of cav like 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 for that matter. He's got some of his elite halberdiers in the mix with this cav. You can see them all here. Oh yeah, just shoving them off their horses. Ooh. That guy getting hit by something there. They are trying to hold out as long as they can, but I think they've already broken. So they're just, yeah, they're going to be cut down. But there is a lot more cav still waiting. Looks like the Templars are trying to redeploy their men over here. The Gulam foot guard have smartly switched to Flaming Shot, because this unit is already quite depleted and shaken, so they may actually be able to break that unit there. And actually, yeah, they're pouring fire arrows in anywhere they can. Let's go ahead and look over here because, yes, the Nafatoons have arrived. They will start to throw their pots any second, I'd imagine. Oh yeah, here they come. Oh, man. Look at these pods coming in. Ooh. Instantly just burning a ton of my men. Like I said, that is going to be a morale breaker right there. Just seeing, you know, 20 or 30 of your comrades just explode into flames right around you. That is insane. And yeah, it looks like they've just broken over there. And, yeah, my general actually broke as well. Think he's out of here. Oh, is this him here? Yeah, this is the coward. He's escaping the battlefield. Guy of Lusignan. He will actually be captured by Saladin later on. He was one of the few survivors. So yeah, I've got this little unit here. I'm trying to actually hold off the Ayyubid Sultanate from pushing in, but they're just more than happy to just destroy my men with arrow fire. It's funny because the Hospitallers were engaged last by the Ayyubids, but were actually breaking first. The Templars having a lot better luck, a lot better morale. But then again, the Templars didn't have to face the might of the Nafatunes over here. Look at their little pots. Ooh, I would not want to be on the receiving end of one of those. Yeah, looking pretty grim on this flank. If we turn on the HUD, you can see that most of my men are just routing over here. I guess with the routing of the general as well. My halberdiers are holding in against these Husqari nobles, though. Sorry for jumping all around with the camera, but this battle is just constantly in a state of fight, so I want to make sure that I can get everything for you guys. It's mostly just going to be done on slow motion the entire time, so hopefully that's epic for you guys. Ooh. Yeah, probably not the best option to be attacking these heavy halberdiers with cav, but he has enough of it that I just don't think it matters if he loses them. I love the beasts that just take like an arrow into the shoulder blade and still fight on too. That's awesome. Alright, let's take a look-see. So yeah, the Templars, they are actually starting to waver now that the might of the axes is kind of cut through a lot of the spear line. You can see that it's a pretty thin line of warriors that are holding back just this horde of Ayyubid Sultanate men. Very angry Muslims who want to get the Crusader filth out of their lands. How are we looking on other sides of the battle? Oh, looks like more of the cav is coming in. Let's see if we can jump. Whoops. Really? I wanted to get into this cav. There we go. And we're caught at the back, of course. Here we go, just in time. Yeah, so it looks like more of the, Husqari nobles just running right through this, these archers in loose formation. That's the thing, like, loose formation, it is definitely good for cav charges, but I find that it just allows the cavalry to penetrate deeper into the ranks. So it's hard to say whether or not that's worth it, but then again, if you can get your archers that have shield wall into shield wall, that would probably be a better tactic. But I don't think that these could form shield wall here. These cheaper crossbows, Crusader Ballistariae. Oh, we got a nice flank as well from some of the axemen coming in. Charging into the backs of these Crusaders. Ooh, a couple of them losing their heads there. Yeah, these are the military order swordsmen, so they're the most elite swordsmen that are on the field. So hopefully they will hold out a little bit longer.
Our men run from the enemy. This is shameful.
Yeah, the numbers are just so much. Every shot that we're getting here is the Crusaders. There's a handful, like 8 or 10, just holding off almost 100 men. But yeah, if we look over on the Hospitaller flank, pretty much a massive chain route. Just everyone fleeing the field from those Nafatunes. And also the loss of the general. General just leaving the battlefield, trying to escape with his life. Oh, and a lot of them being slain by the crossbows as they try to retreat as well. You can see the Mamelukes actually moving forwards to cut down the retreating troops as well. The Mameluke Tabaderia. Yeah, my dismounted Hospitaller halberds, they are breaking as well. Just look at the amount of cav that's still left for the attackers. It is a rough scene. Also, the Templars, they are kind of on their last few hundred soldiers as well. We've managed to kill about 3,000 of them, but we've lost about 2,600, so we've killed a little more than we've lost, but the tide of battle is definitely turning out of our favor. We've got this little spear unit taking on some of the Takla swordsmen. Or no, this is some Gulam foot guard. Guess they charged out against them. Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh, this guy's like pushing him to his knees with the spear. Ugh. Oh. Yeah, get it out of there. Looks like some of the archers are still trying to fight, though, instead of retreating. Alright, let's see how else we're doing here. It's a little bit even on here. We've got the axes retreating, but also the spears retreating for the Crusaders, and the military order swordsmen actually have their backs to the Gulam foot guard, so that is not a good position to be in. Just looking on the horizon, like in behind the men, you can just see the amount of dead. Wow. What a battle. Yeah, you can you can note how quickly the Hospitallers broke off the battlefield. So if you are a Templar, if you think the Templars are cooler than the Hospitallers, they definitely lasted longer in battle, that's for sure. Granted, I believe that the Grand Master of the Temple is still fighting. Yes, and he's got 34 out of 38 men still left in his unit.
The men's resolve is failing.
Coupled with the halberds as well.
The men are running. Stand and fight, damn you! The enemy general is dead.
Oh, nice. I think that's what they were attacking over here, or where did he die? Yeah, there goes the Sultan's bodyguard, but that is not Saladin. That's just the other general. There's Saladin. You can see if we could find him on the battlefield. There he is, right there, getting his sword wet. Oh, somebody ran through him. Oh yes, he's just crazy with the fever of battle. Very nice. So yeah, he's just loving it right now, cutting down all these Crusaders. So I think we can turn it on play now, because the Templars are actually going to pull back and kind of redeploy back here for their final stand. But you can see that there's just a ton of men left to deal with this last final force. It's about 400 men of the Templars making their last stand here on the battlefield, but we've killed actually half of the forces, so considering we were outnumbered, we brought them down to about the numbers that we started with, even less so. So it was a brave stand for the Crusaders. Let's zoom into this pile of dead here, and then if you just look on the horizon at all the amounts of men that are moving forwards, the haze of the heat, it's probably midday. Look at all the carrion. All the birds flying everywhere, waiting for their chance to get their pick of all the dead soldiers. Epic, epic, epic battle. So here we go, we got this last little stand here. So let's see who's left. We've got the Grandmaster of the Temple. He is standing his ground. And he's got some of the Crusader milites left. He's got 2 units of halberds that he's forming a square formation with, which is pretty cool. I would want to be one of these guys in the middle. You can hear the crossbows firing as well, along with the longbows, but the Gulam foot guard have moved forwards. Yeah, here comes all the fire arrows pushing in. Oh my goodness. That is gonna shatter some morale for sure. Oh, it looks like we got a charge here. Let's join in for this last epic charge. Nice, just in time. We've got another unit of cav coming in as well. And it looks like, yeah, the Templars have committed their halberders as well. Oh, this is going to be a good charge by the Sultan. Saladin just running down these archers. Wow. And there he is again, the man himself. Having a grand time. And here come the axes, just following it up as well. Ooh. Limbs actually flying onto the ground. That's a piece of a head there. So outnumbered at this point, there's nothing that they can do. Oh, this archer's getting some kills though. But that's it, looks like they're routing. Oh snap. Oh.